Hello, welcome to today's video. We are now going to be talking about lesson 2 from our book, and we're going to be discussing changing chords. Okay, so here we're learning about the chords of F and G7. Originally, we had worked on the chord C and also the chord C6, which is just an open string chord. Talking now about the chord F and G7. Let's go ahead and get started with that, please. Okay, so as you can see over here on the screen, we have those two new chords. The first one is F. We are going to take finger number 1, and that one is going to be placed on string E, fret number 1. String E, fret number 1, right there. Next, finger number 2, middle finger, on string G, fret 2. So starting with fret 1 on string E, fret 2 of string G. Become comfortable holding these two new frets one at a time and then together. It's important that we be comfortable and develop the muscle memory to press them down together at the same time. And then together. Let's go ahead and press these down. Remember, when placing your fingers onto the frets, try to be as close to the fret wire that's to the right towards the body as possible. Eventually you will run out of space, but way up here towards the headstock and the nut, you do have a lot of space. So make your way towards the edge there, not overlapping the fret wire, but just at the edge, as you can see there. Okay, so now that we've depressed these, let's go ahead and strum them down with a flick of finger I, making sure that each individual string is not being muted unintentionally. Sounds good. Let's flick and strum. That's a nice sounding chord, F major. Very good. The next chord, as you can see over here, is G7. The very simple way to move from F to G7 is simply keep finger number 1 there on string E, fret 1, bring finger number 3 down to string C, fret 2, and then bring finger number 3 down onto string A, fret 2. So finger number 1 is already there. This one comes down. Finger number 3, as you can see that, comes down there on fret 2 of string A. Okay. Now that we have had them all pressed down, let's go ahead and pluck each string individually to hear if it is a clear, open sound and if it sounds good, and if there is no unintentional muting or muffling. Afterwards, let's go ahead and strum it. Sounds good. Excellent. Let's get to know these chords. Here are a few ideas of what we can do to get to know these chords better. So the first step is called, as it says here in the book on page 16, the squeeze and relax trick. What that is you will form the chord as perfectly as you can. So let's start with F. Okay, there it is. Then you will go ahead with building muscle memory. We're going to make sure every single string rings out clearly. Now, instead of moving on to another chord, it simply says to just relax the pressure of your fingers without lifting them off the string. So there's a little bit of a tension that we built. Down, relax, down, relax. Getting a little blurry there, sorry about that. So press down, relax. press down, relax. Now relax means we just stop pressing down hard. If I were to relax my finger, notice it is kind of muting the sound a little bit. But when I press it down, you can hear the notes. And that's what it sounds like, relax. So press down, relax, press down, relax, press down, relax. And just as we mentioned, get used to bringing them down at the same time as well. So actually remove your fingers from the frets just like that. Come up, come down, come up, come down. And when you come down, do it in degrees. Do a relaxed press down or a hard press down so that when you bring it down, we can be ready to play the notes. Okay, so that's one way. Let's go ahead now, try that one with G7. Spell them out one at a time if you need to. Once you have them down, press hard. Make sure they all sound clear. Then relax. That's how they sound, relax. Press down, relax. Press down, relax. Press down, relax. Hard, relax. Bring it down, relax. Try this with every new chord that you learn so that you can develop the muscle memory. After you've done this a few times, then I think it will be a really good idea to lift and drop. Lift, drop. Make sure that you focus on the key, on the fingers coming down on the exact frets that you want them to be on. Coming up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, just like that. Another one here, it says a switching chords in pairs and the two-pronged strategy. Let's review that. It says here, once they become easier for you, you're going to want to begin switching them in just pairs. So start with C and F. Okay, so the first part is the slow motion practice. It says here that you're going to play the first chord, then figure out where each finger needs to go for the second chord. And you're going to just practice very slowly, going back and forth. If you need to bring it down one finger at a time, that's perfectly okay. Eventually, though, like we practiced before, become used to bringing all fingers down for that chord. So bring it down for C, lift slowly, bring it down for F. And when you bring it down, I want you to get into the habit of bringing it down quick, really hard. Not just a very slow and delicate drop, but bring it down hard so that you are pressing against the neck of the fretboard. Okay, next part here it says practicing in rhythm. After you've done the slow motion practice for just a few minutes, try counting a slow, steady beat and play 2 measures of each chord as shown on the next page of your book. And then, of course, you'll use both approaches as time progresses. So let's go ahead now to page number 17, and we're going to practice the slow method. We're going to slowly go from one chord to the next, becoming comfortable. Okay, so now we are here on page number 17. We are working with chords of C and F. So you've already spent time. If you need to spend some more time slowly working your way from one chord to the next, go ahead and pause this video or take time on your own to get to know the fingerings on your frets. Let's go ahead and turn on the metronome here. We're going to start with the metronome tempo of 60, and we're going to practice strumming each chord 4 times per measure, and we're going to take 1 beat to switch, drop, and then bring it down to the next chord. Here we go. 1, 2, 3 times, 4 times, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, So I would encourage you to practice that either in tempo with me or as slowly or faster as you want. Eventually, though, we're going to want to get rid of that little hesitation in between. Let's go ahead and get rid of it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. You ready? Here we go. Ready back? Very good. Now we're going to work on C to G7. A little bit more tricky because that requires that your finger number 3 there on string A actually slide from fret 3 over to fret 2, and the rest of these will come down on their appropriate frets. So let's take your time. Go ahead and pause the video now to get used to going from C to G7, moving slowly. I would encourage you to practice the slide over with finger number 3, but maintaining that your fingers are hovering over the appropriate strings. You always want to keep them as close as possible to prepare them. Just like that. All right, so let's go ahead now and practice with the metronome here. We're going to do a hesitation of 1 beat in between. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Switch. Switch. The really interesting and neat thing about the switch back to C is you just have to slide it back over. Switch. Let's get rid of the hesitation now. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go. Here we go. It's coming. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead now and move on to a few more examples here. We have F now to G7. So F, remember, is right there, and G7, maintain finger number 1 on string C, excuse me, string E, fret 1, while these other ones come down. We're going to do a hesitation. Ready? 1, 2, starting with F, and go. Beat. And now without the hesitation. You ready? And the last one is to put all 4 together. So slowly go from one to another, shaping them. And I would encourage you, when you bring them down, especially for those that are 2 or 3 fingers, practice coming down all together at the same time. At the beginning, yes, it's okay to do one at a time, but get used to bringing it down, up, down, up, down, up at the same time. Okay, so we're going to do a hesitation in between each of these. Here we go. Starting with C major at the bottom, 17. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Hesitation. 2, 3, 4. And now without the hesitation. Very good. Okay, so let's go ahead now and practice doing this strumming and become comfortable with moving from one chord to the next. Develop the muscle memory, and you'll be on your way, well on your way, to playing all kinds of beautiful songs with chords. And we will see you at next lesson.